We are live
Hey,
on Facebook with Miss Kiva Williams. Hey girl,
okay, hey, hey.
how are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Um, just so you know, I have people going, are you live now? I can't see you on the page. We're a couple minutes late, y'all. We sorry.
But
We
thanks for tuning in, right?
sorry. Thanks for your enthusiasm.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in our Facebook group as well. So we are broadcasting live there too. So we
Hey.
are up and running on Facebook. I'm
Hey.
so happy to have you here, busy lady.
Right. Thank you
Mm,
for you know, bringing me on.
Of course, of course. So just to give people a little bit of context, about what we're doing. We are doing what I'm calling candid conversations. And we are talking with folks who have gone through the Metamorphosis program. And you are one of the graduates.
Yay.
Yay. And I just wanted to kind of bring you on because, sometimes there are people who will say, I'm so busy, I can't do this because. So my goal is to really help people understand that, this is your time. And this is something that you're trying to do for you. And people make time for the things that are important to them, right?
Very true.
Yeah. So before we continue, I want to go ahead and give you an opportunity to sort of introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about what you do.
All right. So I met Quinn a few years back. We were both blogging for Ford. So we had a connection there. And throughout that relationship, my blog kind of shifted a little bit, went from like, strictly mom blogging to, hey, encompassing other things. And, just being the entrepreneur that I am, I was always trying to find ways that I could, put myself, in front of people or just out there in a different way so that people can, see me as this business owner who wants to take, my blog to the next level. So throughout that journey, I was able to hone in some different skills that I had, one of them being media. And I took a chance and reached out to Quinn, and that's how I kind of started with the whole PR, like taking it serious, like as a business. Because before I was doing it for myself, and when you're doing things for yourself, you're like, okay, I can do this for myself, but can I do this for people? Is this something that people are interested in? So I'm glad that the Metamorphosis class came about because I was able to like walk backwards into, having this idea, but like putting it structure behind it and taking it to the next level. So yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that, one of the things that you said that was super important was you can walk backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big piece of the program in that, one of the key pieces is what we call the GEM strategy, GEM S. And so it's all about your growth, your exploration, and your monetization. So those are kind of like the core pieces of the strategy that we use to help people get their idea off the ground.
Yeah.
And you do have to kind of like say, okay, this is what I want to do. And
Yeah.
then we devise a plan to walk it backwards so that you
Yeah.
can meet your goal. So I'm so glad. Look at you parroting what you've learned. I'm so impressed. Yes, yes.
Listen,
So,
thank you for building this out. I mean, you put the tools together, so hey,
oh
all
man.
is going forward and taking the steps. So thank you, Quinn.
Absolutely, absolutely. I used a lot of what I learned just from my own personal experiences. I know there was a lot of pitfalls that I ran into, and I was like, gosh, I know I'm not the only person that's going through this who wants to do something different, who wants to do something new. So how in the world can I keep people from falling into the same pitfalls that I did? And so I did the same thing that I require you guys to do. I walked it backwards. And
Yeah.
that's how Metamorphosis came to life. So we've got some people watching, Kiva. Look at this.
Right.
I mean,
Hello
it's
out
like,
there.
hello, hello, hello. And we'll see them on the replay as well. But, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you kind of alluded to where you were before Metamorphosis. I know you personally, and I know that, you are what people call a multi-passionate entrepreneur, meaning that you have a lot of irons in the fire. So
Uh,
can you talk a little bit about like what you were doing and how you were feeling when you were trying to like put all this stuff together?
yeah, so I was kind of feeling all over the place. Like sometimes when you are multi-passionate and you feel passionate about these things, sometimes people say, okay, your passions might not also be a business, you have to decide. But I know there's three things that I do really enjoy, and I wanted to figure out ways to monetize them. So having the passion, but also kind of grouping it together, making it one big picture. And you kind of helped me see that, because I was like, man, I hope I don't come across as this crazy person to people who's like, 1 minute I'm doing my nonprofit stuff, the next minute I'm doing media, the next minute I'm doing my blog, like, hey, I'm the fun foodie mama. But
Yeah.
you're like, no, it all goes together. And I was like, okay, because sometimes in your head you have so much going on, and you want to make sure you're coming across as this structured, put together person, because you have to present yourself, to gain the people to want to invest in you and your business. So I'm just glad that there was a safe space to like talk about the ideas and, wants and how to kind of maneuver that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like I said, a lot of people, they get so scared when they have all of these ideas in their head and they're like, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I hear that a lot. And so, Metamorphosis really is built on giving you a starting place,
Yes.
to get your idea off the ground. And so, I want to talk to you about like, what was one of your biggest takeaways from the program?
Well, I really enjoyed being in a group with women of my age. I'm a woman over 40, I'm 43. And
Woohoo.
like I mentioned, like sometimes when you're reinventing yourself or you're like pivoting, it can be scary because you're already like at this level of your life. You're supposed to kind of already have it together in your mind. This is what you're telling yourself. This is what society is saying. So I just enjoyed the fact that I could come to a safe space, once a week with people who are in my age group and who are also trying to figure it out. So you didn't feel like you're by yourself. So my biggest takeaway was being okay with sharing those ideas and those thought processes, and also being able to have a designated time to like, okay, I'm like you said, this is something that you make time for what you want. So I'm
Yeah.
making time because I want to see this through. I want to advance. I don't want to keep all this in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, a couple of the conversations that we've had before, and these ladies too, Charmaine and Karen and one of the things that everybody always talks about in the program is, ooh, those workbooks. Ooh,
Yeah.
those workbooks. And they're so
I gotta do
important.
the work.
You have to do the work. I mean, you know, the thing about the workbooks is they are very, very detailed, right? But at the end of the process, it all sort of comes together. Sometimes, they see all the work in the workbooks and you said it too. It's like you feel like, whoa, this is a lot for me to do.
Yeah.
But when you start getting into it and you see how it all kind of builds on top of each other, then you start to see how everything comes together. The big thing about metamorphosis is that, you're going to walk away with an actual plan to
Yes.
implement something, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what you did. And, I think another piece that was super important too, you mentioned that it's a safe place for you to kind of try out your ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then
that,
have like the group think also, because sometimes you might have an idea, but you didn't really flesh it out. But other people are like, hey, what about this? Like they give you
Right.
suggestions. Like, you know what? I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes we're so close to, what we're doing and we feel like, oh, this is my baby.
Yeah.
And, you're scared to share it with people because you don't want anybody to tell you that your baby's ugly, right?
Right.
And so,
Or that's a bad idea. Yeah.
right. And there is no such thing as a bad idea. It's just maybe
Right.
like an idea that needs to be fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
And also
so,
have you there too. It's like you are, meeting us and walking us through. So we're not by ourselves. We have
right.
somebody did the work. We saw what you did. We know your story. We know,
Mm-hmm.
the result of you, building your community. So we're like, okay, it is
Mm-hmm.
possible. I'm literally talking to the person who did it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I mean, I went through, like I said, a lot of obstacles to get in this program. I mean, I think it took me all told like 4 years to build this program. And so, I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot into this program because I wanted you all to be able to walk away with something real. And my friend, you have walked away with something real. I mean, when I say that Kiva Williams is a PR extraordinaire, I mean Kiva Williams is a PR extraordinaire. You have appeared on national television. The,
Yes, yes.
okay, I'm not gonna tell your story. You tell your story. Tell people like where you've been, and it's incredible. I can't even explain it, but I'm just so proud of you, and I just want everybody to hear what you have accomplished.
Yeah. So like you said, I was able to be on the national network with Tamron Hall. I got the opportunity to share my story. And, I relate to her so much because she had to pivot too. She went through a transition where she
Mhm.
left the network, had to figure out herself, and just kind of seeing her like, wow, like at this, she was a woman of a certain age. She was able to pick up the pieces, turn it around. So we had like that in common as far as like, there's a time where we all have to think about our pivot, like
Right,
what's next, So
right.
just being able to speak with her, kind of like, get to know her a little bit more and share my blog story of being a corporate woman and trying to find myself, you know, creating my blog and then, taking it to the next level. So that was
Mhm.
like really like, oh my God. Like, so
So
yeah,
cool.
I really enjoyed that. And then also, locally, I've been able to network and build relationships with different local channels. So you've probably seen me on, your local TV show, Fox News,
Mhm.
ABC. So I'm just honing in on my skills of my pitching and being able to tell my story so that I can relay it and it becomes relatable.
Yeah,
And that's my clients. So hey,
exactly. Exactly. And I
yeah,
mean, the thing about, what we do in Metamorphosis is you can take some of what you learned in Metamorphosis and apply it in your business. One of the things that we talk about a lot is how to create a story that's worth telling, right?
yes, your authentic self, right?
And a lot of people think that, oh, well, my story is boring, or oh, well, other people are doing what I do. True, there are other
Yeah,
people that are doing what you do. There's no such thing as a new idea anymore, right?
right, right.
The key is you, what you bring to it, right?
Yes.
And so in Metamorphosis, we go through a structured approach to how to tell your story. There's like 6 pieces to it, and we dive in deep to each piece so that you can kind of create your story over the course of this workbook. And
Yes.
then you come out, and then when somebody like a Tamara Hall calls you and says, "Hey, girl, tell me your story," you can
Right.
go right to your book and you can say, "Well, let me tell you, Tamara, who I am and what I've been
Okay.
through." So, I mean, it's usable, and over time, you can start adding to your story. But I will say that anytime that you are watching Kiva on whether it's national news. Did you say that you were on Good Morning America too?
I forgot to mention that. Oops.
What? Like what? How do you forget that?
I know, and that's where the nonprofit side comes in, because I was able to share my story about my love of fine arts, which one of the reasons why I started my nonprofit. So it kind of all it like blends together, telling your authentic story.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And I mean, it's just been amazing for you for me to watch you blossom, right? And then I got an opportunity to sort of experience your talent because in the Metamorphosis program, we have a lot of women who, like us, we've been in corporate America. We've got a lot of experience. We've got some years behind us. We've been through some things. But when it comes to kind of like getting out there on our own and telling people what we're doing, we kind of get a little bit scared.
Yeah.
And so being in Metamorphosis, like you said, gives you an opportunity to be in a protected space where you can ask someone in the program and say, hey, I want to test this out. Will you help me? And of course, the answer is going to be yes, because we're all in the same place. We're all trying to get somewhere. We're all trying to build together. And so that's the beauty of being in a program, is that people are willing to help you build. And that's kind of how you and I actually came to be tangled. I don't want to say entangled, because we ain't trying to be Jada.
No Jada Pinkett references, please. I know she got a book out, but no.
Yeah, we're not trying to do that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we just kind of I needed some help trying to get the word out about my conference. And you needed help trying to get your PR business off the ground. And so it's a wonderful kind of,
And what I loved about you, though, is that, as in the role as the coach during the metamorphosis process, you're able to genuinely tell somebody hey, I believe in you, I see you, and also, hey, girl, raise your prices because you got to value yourself. Okay, so that's what I love about our relationship, is that you put your coach hat on and you want to see me succeed and also want me to get paid. So I really appreciate that part.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're pivoting, we kind of don't see ourselves as other people see. We know we have the skills, but it's we need that person to cheer us on and to be hey, this is how you can do it. This is what I see in you, and you should keep going. So it's always good to have somebody at the helm doing that for you.
Yeah. And I'm really glad you mentioned that too, because one of the things that we do in Metamorphosis, and I've talked about this in the other conversations that we've had, is a key part of the program is actually bringing in professional coaches.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily regard myself as a coach. I am a mentor. Yes. And there are people who are doing the thing way better than me and got way more expertise than me in some areas. So I'm not going to say I'm going to teach you this if I don't know what it is. But what I will commit to doing is finding a person who does know and can teach. So, for the 6 weeks you have me, I'm encouraging you. I'm telling you to jump in those workbooks, because I do view the workbooks and I provide feedback in the workbooks. So that's another key piece too. You're not just on your own, just writing in these workbooks randomly. I'm actually in there helping you move along. But at the same time, I'm bringing in coaches in the last 3 weeks of the program because you're getting ready to launch. And so, your mindset is something that's a huge, huge, I guess, obstacle when it comes to doing something new. So can you talk a little bit about, some of the mindset work that you had to do in order to launch your thing?
Yeah, so I had to kind of envision myself, because my journey is a little bit different. Like you said, like, you're still in your corporate job. You still have like that element of you have a role. And I'm coming from a place of, my mom role is on majority of the time, but now I'm trying to reinvent myself as a business person. And sometimes when you kind of have that time in between, that space, that large gap, you kind of like, I'm not saying you forget about all the things you bring to the table, but it kind of like, you have to remember, rejuvenate all those things, that the way you see yourself, because when you walk into a corporate job, you have a title, you have all these skills that you're working on a daily basis. And then when you're not at home, you don't have titles. You're just the person you're everything, right? You're the chauffeur, you're the cook, you're the, you know how it.
Yeah.
But then flipping that switch to be like, okay, I have all these skill sets too that I can bring to my new, pivot. So I just like the fact that in the think tank group setting, we could like encourage each other and, listen to other people's story, how they, might be going through the same thing, but it kind of reminds you like, wow, I've been there and this is how I'm getting through it. So I just like the fact that we were able to encourage ourselves like all the time, at that designated time during the program. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a core piece of it, is really being able to know that you're not in it alone. I think that knowing that you have a community of women that want to see you win makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like a boost,
And we have the expectation that, when you get out of this program, you're going to have something. And you're going to be able to go out to people and say, hey, I have this offer that I want you to take advantage of, and here's what it is. And so, there's that expectation, there's that anticipation by all of the people that go into the program with you that, ooh, Kiva get ready to launch, Kiva get ready to launch. And it's so exciting, it's so exciting when you finally land on your thing and you're like, you're ready to go.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you're doing just so great. I mean, so great. And it's so funny that you mentioned the piece about, charging what you're worth, I think that a lot of times people kind of come to the table and they want something, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting what I'm worth. And it's like, you're not really worth that though.
Yeah.
So this kind of gives you an opportunity to test it out, to see not only what you feel comfortable at, a price point that you feel comfortable at, but what is the price point like a client, your ideal client, what is the price point they're comfortable at paying? Where's that sweet spot? And so you're able to like do all of that, test all of it out. Yeah.
That's a big part though too, because you're launching something. So yeah.
And I told Kiva, and I will tell everybody, my thing is I just want to be honest with people. Kiva was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, charge you this because I'm just now doing this and I don't know. And I was like, okay, girl. I know. She was like, I don't know. So I'm gonna charge you this. And I was like, on the side, I'm like, well, okay, girl. Okay. So I did it. And y'all, when I tell you that Miss Kiva Williams had me on every show in town, we went everywhere, did everything, saw all the people.
Right. In a short window too. We were like, let's go.
We were like, let's do it. And I was like, whatever you can do, I will make sure that I do my level best to be there on time, show up, get it done. And when I tell you that Miss Kiva Williams delivered, she delivered with a capital D. Yes. Okay? And it was amazing. And what's the first thing I told you after we were finished?
You were like, please raise your prices. In my mind, I was like, this is a lot of work. It's like, I'm testing it out, but I'm, I'm doing it, but I'm like, okay, I see where I can adjust. Yeah. And then you like confirm for me, like, okay, yeah, I was thinking that too. But most people wouldn't even tell you that. So hey, I commend you for helping us out.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are worth it. You are worth it, and that's the thing. I want people in this program. I want, when you have put so much energy and so much work into bringing your thing to life,
yes.
You have to believe that you're worth it. You have cared, you've done enough caring and feeding of this thing that you're bringing to life. Of course you should get paid for it. It's only fair that you get paid for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're worth it. And so you have to be, that's why we work on the mindset piece so much. That's why we work on getting that offer piece down pat. So when somebody asks you, Kiva, what do you do? You can be like, oh, well, here's what I do. And you just rattle it off because you already know it.
Confidently, yeah.
And that's the part of, bringing your thing to life and helping people understand like what it is, and just feeling and looking and speaking and walking confidently in your purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Listen, it was a great experience for me. I'm glad I was a part of it. I'm glad I could just say I'm a graduate of your program. So I really love what you're doing. And please continue. We need it.
I appreciate it, friend. Yeah, I cannot say enough times how very proud I am of you. You are doing it. You are doing it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Before we leave this live, I want you to tell people where they can see you, where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so you can follow my journey on Instagram. I'm at the Fun Foodie Mama. But if you want to reach out to me for PR, please email me at KivaWilliamsPR.com. And I would love to get you my questionnaire out to see what your goals and dreams are for your PR side of your business and help you out. So yes, contact me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going, we're in the last quarter of 2023. So if you want to do something new, let's go.
Right. Let's
what
do
are you
it.
Waiting for? Let's go. All right.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Kiva Williams, thank you, girl.
For having me on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. All right. That's it for now, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the replay as well. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Have a great night. Bye.